The morning sun cast long shadows across the command center as Captain Jake Morrison stared at the holographic display. The blue light from the screen reflected off his tired face. He had been awake for 18 hours straight, watching message after message come from the Galactic Assembly. Each one made his jaw clench tighter. For 50 years, Earth had been part of the galactic family. Humans followed the rules. They paid the taxes. They said thank you when alien ships protected their trade routes. But this morning brought a message that changed everything. Ambassador Lisa Hayes walked into the room. Her usually perfect hair was messy. Her clothes were wrinkled from the long journey back from the assembly homeworld. The look in her eyes told Jake everything he needed to know before she even spoke. "They want our ships," Lisa said quietly. "All of them. Every military vessel, every defense station, every weapon we have built in the last 50 years. They want it all gone." Jake felt his hands form into fists. What reason did they give? They say humans are too aggressive. They say we learn their technology too fast. They say other species are scared of us. Lisa sat down heavily in a chair. They want to put their own soldiers on Earth, on every continent, to keep the peace. Dr. Ryan Cooper had been standing quietly in the corner. He stepped forward now. Ryan had studied alien cultures for 20 years. He had warned everyone that this day would come. "I told you they would do this," he said. "We got too good too fast. What takes them hundreds of years to learn, we figure out in 10 years. They are afraid." The communication screen lit up again. This time it was not a message. It was a live feed from space. Jake watched as massive alien ships moved into position around Earth's major trade routes. The blockade had begun. General Amy Stone's voice crackled through the speakers. "Captain Morrison, report to Earth Defense Command immediately. We are calling an emergency meeting of the World Defense Council." Jake looked around the room. Lisa's face was pale. Ryan was shaking his head slowly. Outside the window, normal. People were going about their normal day. They had no idea that their world was about to change forever. The ride to Earth Defense Command took 40 minutes. Jake spent the time thinking about his daughter Emma. She was only 12 years old. What kind of world would she grow up in? Would she live under alien rule? Would she even know what freedom meant? The command center was buzzing with activity. Men and women in military uniforms hurried back and forth. Computer screens showed star maps, ship positions, and communication logs. General Stone stood at the center of it all, calm and focused. "The situation is simple," General Stone announced to the room. "The Assembly has given us 72 hours to surrender. If we refuse, they will use force to make us comply." A young officer raised her hand. "General, what about our colonies? Mars Base, the Europa stations, the mining operations in the asteroid belt?" "All cut off," Stone replied. "No supplies in or out, no communication. They are completely isolated." "Commander." Luke Adams stepped forward. Luke ran the secret research division that most people did not know existed. "General, I need to tell you something. We have been working on some projects. Things the Assembly does not know about." Stone nodded. "Go ahead, Commander." "We have been studying their technology for years, not just using it, but really understanding how it works. My team has made some discoveries. We have built things that even the Assembly cannot build." The room went quiet. Everyone stared at Luke. "What kind of things?" Stone asked. "Faster ships, stronger weapons, better shields, and something else. Something that could change everything." Luke paused. "We have learned how to bend space itself. Our new ships can appear and disappear instantly. They can move in ways that should be impossible." Jake felt his heart beating faster. "How many ships?" 50 prototype vessels, all fully tested, all ready for combat." Dr. Sandra Bell, Luke's lead engineer, pulled up a holographic display. "These ships use quantum drive systems. They are faster than anything in the galaxy. Their weapons can cut through assembly shields like they are made of paper." General Stone looked around the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, We have a choice to make. We can surrender and live under alien control, or we can fight for our freedom. President Kevin Walsh appeared on the main screen. He was broadcasting from the White House to the entire planet. His voice was calm, but determined. My fellow humans, the president began. Today we face the greatest challenge in our history. The Galactic Assembly demands that we give up our right to defend ourselves. They want to put their soldiers on our soil. They want to control our lives. Jake watched as people around the world stopped what they were doing to listen. We have always been a species that values freedom above all else. Our ancestors fought for independence from kings and emperors. They died for the right to choose their own path. Today, we face the same choice. The president's image filled the screen. His eyes were serious, but not afraid. I have consulted with world leaders, with our military commanders, and with the representatives of every nation on Earth. We are united in our decision. Earth will not surrender. Earth will not bow to tyranny, no matter how powerful the enemy. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. The president continued. Effective immediately, Earth is withdrawing from the Galactic Assembly. We reject their authority. We will defend our freedom with everything we have. The broadcast ended. The room was silent for a long moment. Then General Stone spoke. You heard the president. We are at war. God help us all. Jake looked out the window at the blue sky. Somewhere up there, alien ships were waiting. In 72 hours, the shooting would start. Humanity was about to face the greatest fight of its existence, but for the first time in months, Jake felt something he had almost forgotten. He felt hope. Humans had never been good at giving up. They had always found a way to win against impossible odds. This time would be no different. The Great Hall in Geneva had never seen anything like this before. Representatives from every country on Earth sat around the massive circular table. Colony leaders joined by video link from Mars, Europa, and the asteroid mining stations. The room buzzed with nervous energy. Admiral Chris Parker stood at the center of the room. His uniform was pressed sharp, but his face showed the weight of what he was about to say. Behind him, a huge screen displayed star charts and ship positions. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Parker began, we face the largest military force ever assembled. 300 alien species, over 50,000 warships. They have weapons that can destroy entire planets. A representative from Japan raised her hand. Admiral, what are our chances if we fight? Parker was quiet for a moment. Honestly, if we use normal tactics and normal ships, we have no chance at all. 0. Murmurs filled the room. People shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Director Kate Miller stepped forward. She ran Earth's Economic Planning Department. The economic situation is just as bad. If we fight, we lose all trade with the galaxy. No alien technology, no rare materials. Our economy will collapse. The representative from Brazil shook his head. So we are trapped. Submit or die. That was when Commander Luke Adams walked to the front of the room. He carried a small device in his hands. Luke had been waiting for this moment for 3 years. Actually, Luke said, we have a third option. He pressed a button on the device. The room's lights dimmed. A holographic ship appeared above the table. It was sleek and beautiful, unlike anything anyone had ever seen. This is the UES Freedom, Luke announced. The first ship built with pure human technology. No alien parts, no copied designs, 100% human engineering. The hologram rotated slowly. People leaned forward to get a better look. Dr. Sandra Bell joined Luke at the front. She had dark circles under her eyes from working 18-hour days for months. This ship can do things that should be impossible. It can fold space around itself and appear anywhere instantly. Its weapons use concentrated gravity to tear apart enemy ships. The representative from Russia stood up. How many of these ships do we have? 50 prototypes are ready now, Sandra replied. We can build more, many more. Our factories are already working day and night. Luke activated another part of the hologram. Now it showed the ship in action. It moved like a ghost, appearing and disappearing. When it fired its weapons, enemy ships simply came apart. We tested this against captured assembly fighters, Luke explained. The results were overwhelming. They could not even hit us, let alone damage us. The room was completely silent now. Everyone stared at the demonstration. Admiral Parker smiled for the first time in days. Commander Adams, are you telling us that 50 of these ships could fight the entire assembly fleet? I am telling you that 50 of these ships could destroy the entire assembly fleet, Luke replied. President Walsh appeared on the main screen from Washington. Council members, you have seen our options. Now we must vote. Do we surrender to the assembly, or do we declare complete independence? One by one, each representative cast their vote. The United States voted for independence. China voted for independence. Russia, India, Japan, Brazil. Every single country chose freedom over surrender. The colony representatives voted next. Mars base chose independence. Europa Station chose independence. Even the small mining outposts in the asteroid belt voted to fight. The final tally appeared on the screen. 193 votes for independence. 0 votes for surrender. President Walsh nodded solemnly. Then it is decided. Earth hereby withdraws from the Galactic Assembly. We reject their authority completely. We will govern ourselves. Ambassador Tony Garcia had been sitting quietly in the corner. Now he stood up. Tony had served as Earth's representative to the Assembly for 15 years. He knew many of the alien leaders personally. Mr. President, Tony said, someone has to deliver this message to the Assembly Council. It should be done in person following proper diplomatic procedures. That could be a death sentence, Tony, the president replied. Tony smiled sadly. Maybe. But if we are going to do this, we should do it right. We should show them that humans have honor even when we are declaring war. Agent Nicole Ward stepped out of the shadows near the back of the room. Most people had not even noticed her standing there. Nicole ran Earth's intelligence operations throughout assembly space. I have been gathering information for 8 months, Nicole announced. The assembly is not as strong as they pretend to be. Many member species are unhappy. Some are ready to rebel if they see someone else do it first. She activated her own holographic display. It showed political maps of assembly space. The Zeridian Republic has been planning independence for years. The Andromedan Free States are barely held in line by fear. If Earth succeeds in breaking free, dozens of other species will follow. The room buzzed with excitement. Maybe this was not just about Earth's freedom. Maybe this was about something much bigger. President Walsh stood up. Then we are not just declaring independence. We are starting a revolution that could free the entire galaxy. Admiral Parker was already making plans. We need to move fast. Once Tony delivers our message, they will attack immediately. We have maybe 72 hours to get ready. Luke nodded. Our ships are ready. Our crews are trained. But we need to be smart about this. We cannot fight them everywhere at once. Dr. Bell pulled up another display. We should hit their main fleet first. If we can destroy their primary battle group, the other species will see that the assembly can be beaten. The meeting lasted 6 more hours. They planned everything. Which ships would go where, how to protect Earth during the battle, how to communicate with potential rebel species. As the sun set over Geneva, the representatives began to leave. They carried with them the weight of the most important decision in human history. Tony Garcia packed a small bag that evening. Tomorrow, he would take a ship to the assembly homeworld. He would walk into the council chambers and tell 300 alien species that humanity was no longer afraid. The galaxy was about to change forever. Supreme Chancellor Vex Thule had ruled the Galactic Assembly for over 1,000 years. His massive form sat on the crystal throne in the center of the council chamber. Around him, representatives from 300 species waited in silence. Chancellor's 4 eyes glowed red with anger. In all his years of power, no species had ever dared to reject the Assembly's authority. The humans were small, weak, and young. How could they be so foolish? Ambassador Garcia, the Chancellor's voice boomed through the chamber. Your species has made a grave mistake. Return to Earth immediately. Tell them they have 24 hours to surrender or we will destroy every human world. Tony Garcia stood calmly in the center of the room. He knew he might not leave this place alive, but he had a job to do. Chancellor, Earth's decision is final. We will never surrender our freedom. The alien representatives around the chamber hissed and clicked in their various languages. Some laughed. The idea that humans could fight the assembly seemed like a joke. Then you have chosen death, the Chancellor declared. Fleet Admiral Korthmal, prepare the Grand Armada. We will make an example of these foolish humans. Back on Earth, radar stations picked up the massive fleet as it moved toward human space. 2,000 warships, led by the Assembly's most experienced commanders. It was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. Colonel Ben Harris commanded the defense of Proxima Station, humanity's first colony outside the solar system. He watched through his telescope as the enemy fleet approached. The ship stretched across space like a deadly cloud. "Sir," his communications officer called out. "Incoming transmission from the assembly fleet." On the screen appeared Fleet Admiral Korthmal. The alien commander looked like a cross between a lizard and an insect. His voice was cold and mechanical. "Human colony, you have 1 hour to surrender. Lay down your weapons and prepare for occupation. Resist, and we will destroy. You all," Ben smiled grimly. "Tell the Admiral that Proxima Station declines his generous offer." The first wave of assembly fighters screamed toward the human colony, their weapons charged, ready to destroy the small defense platforms orbiting the planet. That was when Captain Rachel Stone led her squadron out to meet them. The new human fighters seemed to appear from nowhere. One moment space was empty. The next moment 20 sleek ships surrounded the enemy formation. The assembly pilots had never seen anything like it. Rachel's voice came over the radio. "All fighters, weapons free. Show them what human engineering can do." The battle lasted exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds. When it was over, 200 assembly fighters had been destroyed. Not a single human ship was even damaged. The remaining enemy pilots fled in terror, screaming reports back to their commanders. Fleet Admiral Korthmal could not believe what he was hearing. His best pilots destroyed by a handful of human ships? It was impossible. "Send the main battle fleet," he ordered. 500 ships. Destroy that colony completely. Dr. Alex White watched the approaching fleet from the command center on Proxima Station. Alex had designed the weapon systems for the new human ships. He knew exactly what was about to happen. "Colonel Harris," Alex said quietly, "you might want to record this. For the history books, the assembly battle fleet came out of hyperspace in perfect formation. 500 massive warships, each one capable of destroying a planet. They aimed their weapons at the human colony and prepared to fire. Then the human ships decloaked. The UES Freedom appeared first, right in the middle of the enemy formation. Its weapons charged with a sound like thunder. When it fired, the nearest assembly ship simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there, the next moment there was only empty space. 49 more human ships materialized around the enemy fleet. They moved like ghosts, appearing and disappearing at will. Their weapons cut through assembly shields like hot knives through butter. The battle was a massacre. Assembly ships exploded one after another. Some tried to run, but the human ships were faster. Much faster. Captain Marie Lewis commanded the Freedom. She had trained for this moment her entire life. "All ships target their command vessels first. Let's end this quickly." The assembly admirals watched in horror as their fleet disintegrated around them. Their most advanced ships, their most powerful weapons, were useless against human technology. Fleet Admiral Korthmal's flagship shuddered as human weapons tore through its hull. "How is this possible?" he screamed. "They are just humans." His science officer looked up from his instruments. "Sir, their ships are using technology we do not understand. They can bend space itself. Our weapons cannot even hit them." In less than an hour, the great assembly fleet was destroyed. Of the 2,000 ships that had come to conquer humanity, fewer than 100 escaped to tell the tale. The survivors jumped back to assembly space, carrying news that would shake the galaxy to its core. The humans had not just defeated the Grand Armada, They had crushed it completely. Supreme Chancellor Vex Thule received the reports in his throne room. His 4 eyes burned with rage and something else. Fear. "This is impossible," he said. "Humans are a young species. They have been in space for less than a century. How can they have such advanced technology?" His chief scientist, a creature that looked like a walking tree, stepped forward. "Chancellor, our analysis of the battle shows that human ships use principles of physics we do not fully understand. They have somehow learned to manipulate space-time itself." The news spread through assembly space like wildfire. The mighty Grand Armada defeated by a handful of human ships, species that had lived in fear of the assembly for thousands of years, suddenly began to whisper among themselves. On the Zeridian homeworld, President Zekthon called an emergency meeting of his government. "The humans have shown us something important," he declared. "The assembly can be beaten." In the Andromedan, System's rebel leaders who had been hiding for decades came out of the shadows. If the humans could fight the assembly and win, maybe others could too. Supreme Chancellor Vex Thule sat alone in his throne room staring at the battle reports. In one day, everything had changed. The humans had not just declared independence, they had shown the entire galaxy that the assembly was not invincible. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Chancellor felt afraid. The news traveled faster than light across the galaxy. In every corner of assembly space, the same impossible story was being told. The humans had destroyed the Grand Armada. 2,000 ships gone. The assembly's greatest military force wiped out by 50 human vessels. Director Paul Grant sat in his office on Earth, watching reports flood in from across the galaxy. Paul ran Earth's new Department of Galactic Affairs. His job was to handle contact with alien species. But now he was dealing with something no one had expected. "Sir," his assistant called out, "we have another communication request, this time from the Zeridian Republic." Paul rubbed his tired eyes. In the past week, he had received messages from over 100 different species. All of them wanted the same thing: help breaking free from assembly control. The holographic display activated, showing President Zekthon of the Zeridian Republic. The alien leader looked like a tall, blue-skinned human with silver eyes. "Director Grant," Zekthon began, "my people have been enslaved by the assembly for 3,000 years. We have watched your species do the impossible. We want to fight for our freedom too." Paul leaned forward. "President Zekthon, Earth will help any species that wants to be free. But you must understand, this means war. The assembly will not let you go easily." The Zeridian leader's silver eyes blazed with determination. "We know the cost. We are ready to pay it." That same conversation was happening all across the galaxy. The Andromedan Free States declared independence the next day. The Tau Ceti coalition followed a week later. Within a month, over 200 species had broken away from assembly control. Captain Marie Lewis stood on the bridge of the UES Liberation, flagship of Earth's new Galactic Freedom Fleet. Marie had been promoted to admiral after the victory at Proxima Station. Now she commanded a fleet of 300 human ships, the most advanced military force in galactic history. "Admiral," her communications officer announced, "we are receiving a distress call from the Vegan system. Assembly forces are attacking the rebel colonies." Marie nodded grimly. "Set course for the Vegan system. Maximum speed. Signal the rest of the fleet. We have work to do." The Liberation and her escort ships folded space around themselves and vanished. They would arrive at the battle in minutes, not hours. Supreme Chancellor Vex Thule paced back and forth in his throne room. His empire was falling apart. Every day brought news of more rebellions, more lost worlds, more defeated fleets. "How many systems have we lost?" he demanded. His aide, a nervous creature with tentacles for arms, consulted his datapad. "As of this morning, Chancellor, we have lost control of 47% of assembly space. The rebellions are spreading faster than we can contain them." The Chancellor's 4 eyes burned with fury. "And the humans? Where are they now?" "They are everywhere, Chancellor. Their ships appear wherever there is fighting. They protect the rebels. They share their technology. They are turning our own member species against us." General Korth Mal, entered the throne room. The military commander had barely escaped the destruction of his fleet at Proxima Station. His insect-like face was scarred from the battle. "Chancellor," Korth Mal reported, "I have disturbing news. Our intelligence sources report that the humans are building more ships, many more ships. Their industrial capacity is beyond anything we imagined." The Chancellor stopped pacing. "How many ships?" "Our estimates suggest they could have over 1,000 vessels within 6 months, and each one is more advanced than our entire fleet." Meanwhile, in the Vegan system, Admiral Marie Lewis watched her ships tear through another assembly battle group. The enemy vessels were no match for human technology. Their shields collapsed under the first volley. Their hulls cracked like eggshells under human weapons. "Signal to all rebel forces," Marie announced. "The Vegan system is now free. Assembly. Forces are in full retreat." The victory celebration was broadcast across the galaxy. Species that had lived in fear for thousands of years watched human ships protect their freedom. The impossible was becoming routine. Dr. Helen Ross had been appointed as Earth's first Secretary of Galactic Affairs. Her job was to help organize the growing alliance of free worlds. Helen stood before the newly formed Council of Free Worlds on the neutral planet of Haven. "Fellow beings," Helen began, "6 months ago, Earth was alone in its fight for freedom. Today we stand with over 300 independent worlds. The age of assembly tyranny is ending." The council chamber erupted in cheers. Representatives from dozens of species stood and applauded. Some had tentacles, some had wings, some looked almost human. All of them were free. Emperor Zalteth, the supreme ruler of the assembly, sat in his private chambers on the assembly homeworld. The emperor was ancient, even by assembly standards. He had ruled for over 10,000 years. "Bring me Chancellor Vex Thule," the emperor commanded. When the chancellor arrived, he found the emperor staring out at the stars. The old ruler's voice was tired and defeated. "Tell me, Chancellor, how did we lose an empire that took 1,000,000 years to build?" Vex Thule did not know how to answer. "Emperor, the humans have technology we cannot understand. They move through space like ghosts. Their weapons ignore our defenses." The emperor turned around. His ancient eyes were filled with fear. "No, Chancellor. We did not lose because of their technology. We lost because we forgot something important. We forgot that beings desire freedom more than they fear death." Back on Earth, Jake Morrison stood in his daughter's room watching her sleep. Emma was 13 now, a year older than when this all began. She would grow up in a very different galaxy than the one Jake had known. The communication device on his wrist buzzed softly. A message from Admiral Lewis. "Jake, you need to see this. The assembly is fragmenting. Member species are fighting each other. Some are asking to join our alliance." Jake smiled. The human revolution had become something much bigger than anyone had imagined. It was not just about Earth's freedom anymore. It was about the freedom of every thinking being in the galaxy. 5 star systems away, the last assembly fortress fell to a combined force of human and rebel ships. The garrison surrendered without firing a shot. Their commander, a proud warrior species that had served the assembly for centuries, knelt before the human admiral leading the attack. "We surrender our arms," the alien commander said. "We ask only for the right to govern ourselves." The human admiral helped the alien to his feet. "You have that right. Every being has that right. That is what we are fighting for." The galaxy would never be the same. The assembly's 1,000,000-year reign was over. In its place, a new alliance of free worlds was being born. And at the center of it all, the small blue planet called Earth continued to shine as a beacon of hope for every being who dared to dream of freedom. 5 years after the severance, Ambassador Jake Morrison stood in the halls of the new Galactic Congress, on the neutral world of Haven. Representatives from over 1,000 free worlds gathered to discuss trade, mutual defense, and exploration of distant galaxies. The old assembly was now a footnote in history, remembered only as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power. Humanity had become not the conquerors many feared, but the liberators the galaxy desperately needed. And in the deep reaches Of space, human exploration ships continued pushing the boundaries of known space, carrying with them the promise that freedom was not just an Earth concept, but a universal right worth fighting to protect.